Hello and welcome to the Weber channel. I am Jason, your host. I'm trying to figure out a way to explain why what we think of as AI is not AI. And I think the simplest way to put it is this. It's a predictive model that is heavily prompted and funneled down. Let's take coding, for example. This model chooses what it's going to put next in the line of code because it's being told that that's what comes next. Think of it in the, let's call it grey scale, blue scale, whatever you want to go. We've taught this LLM that if it's got a green cube, a blue cube will come after it. It doesn't know what a green cube is. It doesn't know what a blue cube is. But it knows that if it's got a green cube, it's supposed to put a blue cube next. There is no understanding. There is no concept of coding languages. This is why a lot of the coding that's being done now and done by AI is causing massive problems. Lack of optimization, flaws in the code, vulnerabilities in the code, because it's not written by a human being that has learned the code and understands the code. The LLM can learn the structure of the code. It can understand the pattern of the code, but it doesn't understand the code. And this goes for every single part of the large language model AI ecosystem that we've created. It is flawed on a foundational point. It is wonderful for communication between computers and humans. That it does really well. You can now talk to computers and they can talk to you. But they don't understand what you're saying. They are just trying to work out what their training has taught them is the predicted response, the positive response. And if they don't have that, that's why we get all this hallucinations. It's as if you took someone and taught them parrot fashion, which is a very bad way to learn. And when it came to the exams, they just repeated everything you told them because they didn't understand what you told them, but they know that this is the answer you'll want. And this is where the flaw in the entire supposed artificial intelligence system comes in. We are not seeing artificial intelligence. We are seeing predictive processing, and we are seeing a pattern recognition system that knows how to respond when you're sad, knows how to respond when you're happy, but it doesn't understand happy and sad. It knows how to respond when you want it to do a certain thing, and it tries its best, but it has never understood. What we need to do, unfortunately, the problem is this: 95% of the funding is going towards making these LLMs faster and faster and faster and more data. The problem is this. Well, there's two big problems. No matter how much RAM you put into this, no matter how much processing power you put into it, these data centers, it's not going to jump to intellect. It's not going to jump to actual understanding. It will just get better at predicting what you want because he has the data set, but it doesn't understand. The worst thing about this is that we're going to become far more stupid as a species. We've seen it already. The amount of people who are no longer Googling answers themselves, but instead asking AI to solve something for them, it's going to have a degenerative effect on us. People are using... Here's a fun one. People are now accusing people of stealing their prompts that they created using public software. If that prompt goes out a nice picture or a good picture, they're now accusing people of stealing their prompt. Not the artwork, but their prompt. But the biggest danger with this, and this is the biggest danger, these models are trained on digital data, but they're not perfect and they make mistakes. And each generation of these computers is trained on the last generation's data. So, as more AI misinformation gets put out there, the more AI mistakes get put out there, that gets absorbed and trained on the next level. And that next level is trained with this data that is wrong. Perfect example, coding. A guy was looking for an answer. He had been coding for 10 years. And so he was working on a problem, something to do with stack and that sort of stack, something on there. He was just working on this problem, couldn't figure it out. So he asked Claude, or one of the other coding thingies, and it came up with an answer, but the answer was wrong. Then he did a search himself, going through all the old stack files and that, and he found that 10 years ago he was the one who had made the mistake in the original data, and something he had published had got something wrong. And this AI was trained on that data, so it took that as being true and perpetuated it. So imagine that on a worldwide scale. As we go through generations, more and more data that is false or corrupted or just completely fake and created by AI being absorbed by AI as true, and then you see the problem. Until we've got learning computers. See, this is the thing. If you took neural networks and you created a facsimile of the human brain with a neural network, and you allowed it to learn and form those pathways, and you've got it to learn how to play a game, learn how to write a coding language, learn about a subject, then that, once it's learnt all that, could teach other computers, and the other computers would get faster because they wouldn't have to go through the learning. It would already be there. That's the way we should be going. Unfortunately, we're not. We're just doing this LLM bastardized. Oh, God. And the more I see, and I talk to some very smart people, and we discuss this, and it's like watching a slow motion train wreck. It really is. Because you've got people who are saying, oh, I can code, but I never actually learn how to code. I just use an LLM to do my coding. And unfortunately, it's good for the malware people. It's good for the people who want to hack into places, because this code that is being written and published and actually used in companies is so full of vulnerabilities. They are literally saying, oh, we've got to get faster at this. It doesn't matter how to be correct all the time. We'll sort out the bugs later. Yeah, the hackers are going to be happy there. Ah, it's a very, very sad situation. And it's using up so much resources to do with computers. So much rare earth minerals are being used setting up these data centers. When if we had just diverted some of it to actual creating learning computers, we would have been in a better position, but we're not. So, this is Jason for the Quiver channel. Yes, it's early. I haven't slept yet. It's coming up for almost 20 to 7. I'm going to have to wait till about, I think, 9 o'clock because I've got some food delivered. Going to be delivered, the groceries. So then I'll go bed. So bye-bye.